Well, welcome to Euroleague Adventures TV, everyone. I wish I could sit here and tell you that as we did yesterday, we had a fantastic day of Euroleague action with tight scores and exciting games and close finishes and overtime. But I'm not a liar. I wouldn't lie to you guys, wouldn't do that to you, just wouldn't. So, I'm going to break it down for you. We had 7 games today involving 14 teams. That's how the math works out on that one. Involving 14 teams. The average point differential among these 7 thrillers was 15. And the closest games were Žalgiris over Partizan MT:(S), whatever. I still don't know what the hell that is or what they do. Might be refrigerators, might be fish aquariums. I'm going to go with fish aquariums. And Caja defeated Spiru Charleroi 84-73. So those were the nail biters of today. 2 11-point affairs. I'll start running through the other ones here for you to give you an idea of what you didn't miss if you weren't watching and what you were probably just not quite understanding if you were. It started off, this game kind of set the tone, CSKA Moscow at home versus Armani Jeans Milano, the Denim Dozen, as I like to call them. CSKA Moscow, first game under legendary coach Dusko Vjosevic, who left Partizan Fish Aquarium to come coach CSKA Moscow this season. And that one was not pretty. It was if you're a Milano fan. They were absolutely unconscious from deep. When it was all said and done, they were 14 of 26 from 3. 4 of 6 of those were Alexei Petrov, who finished the day with 23 points and a ranking of 23. An incredible debut for him after coming back from the Minnesota Timberwolves. CSKA Moscow, Dmitry Sokolov, Jamont Gordon, the only guys out there that really put forth a good performance. Andre Vorontsevich, my boy, had a good game. He's a hustle man. But as good as Sokolov was offensively and decent he was defensively, these guys got beat by these quick little guards. Once they got past that first line of defense, I'm talking Ibby Jabber, Morris Finley, the David Hawkins of the world. They got into the middle, and there was nothing they could do to stop him. Stefano Moncinelli, another guy, kind of got what he wanted. Very smooth offensive game for him. They need Sasha Khan back. They really do. Smotis is not very mobile down there. Vorontsevich, the only big guy with some athleticism. But moving on, not a good loss. At home, by the way. Not a good loss for CSKA, for a team that I predicted to win it all. They usually figure themselves out. This is no different, but it might take some time with a bunch of new guys, a new coach, missing a couple key pieces in Victor Kriapa and Sasha Khan, their 2 best forward, interior, and I'd say versatile defenders. Žalgiris Partizan in Kaunas, Lithuania. Žalgiris comes home and takes it home. They win the game. Martynas Potsis dropping 17 points in 17 minutes. They pay him per minute and per point there with Crazy Vlad running things in Kaunas. An 11 rank for him. And Arturas Milaknis, the one-dimensional shooter, did that one dimension kind of fine today. 3 for 3 from inside the arc. 2 of 5 from beyond it for 12 points. That was second on the team. Partizan, let's say this, Nathan Jawai and Oliver Lafayette are not Alex March and Bo McCaleb yet, at least. Jawai, pretty solid game. Oliver Lafayette struggled. 1 for 7, 4 turnovers, only 2 assists. And Jan Vesely, the superstar youngster, a -5 ranking, only 5 points for him. Very bad first half, couldn't really recover. Jan Vesely, more is expected out of him. Just give him time. Wait on it. He'll explode. Kyle Labarov versus Maccabi Electra. You might not know it from looking at this one, but maybe the ugliest game of the day. Maccabi was down at one point 76-49 before going on a 16-2 run, a 15-2 run, which made things look somewhat manageable. Fernando Emeterio, 11 rebounds, the most in the league this week, 10 points for a 28 ranking. But ironically enough, in the ugliest game of the week, and the team that was losing by the most this week, they will have the MVP, Chuck Eidson, 14 points, 8 assists, 7 boards, getting into triple-double territory, finished with a ranking of 30. Too bad he had nobody to play with. So The David Blatt era in Maccabi starts on a poor note in Vitoria. Caja, one of those 11-point thrillers today, over the newcomers from Belgium, Spirou Charleroi. And Spirou Charleroi, they needed something else as well. Chris Hill, they relied on him offensively. Didn't do very much, only 9 points, not much else for him. Brian Green dropped 20. He was kind of their go-to, 4 of 9 from deep. But for the winners, it was all about seeing what Terrell McIntyre could do. And it turned out he didn't even do that much, and they still won. 7 points for him. The real star of the show, Joel Freeland, and Guillem Rubio, who had a rough transition last year, kind of as a garbage man type of big. Today he looked very productive, got to the line, hitting 8 of 11 there. All 4 of his attempts from inside the arc, 2 of 3 from deep. You know that kind of efficiency gets you a good ranking. He ended up with a 28, tied for the second highest this week with Imiterio behind Chuck Eitzen. So a win for Unicaja. Regal Barcelona, the champs, won by 14 over Sabona from Zagreb, Croatia. Sabona, another team every year in flux every year, new guys coming in. Leon Radosevic, 15 points, 9 rebounds for him. And Bojan Bogdanovic, the most points this week with 28, but not really very effective in other areas of his game, which leads to a bad ranking, only 17 there. But you like what you see from Bojan, that he can be the guy. And against Barcelona on the road, really not one they expected to win, but Ricky Rubio. If anyone is worried about him after his rough preseason, some decent ACB showings, and a, frankly, pretty terrible FIBA, he's doing just fine, folks. 14 points and a ranking of 25, 3 steals, 3 assists, and even 6 boards for the little Spaniard. So Rubio is going to be just fine. You don't have to worry about him there. The champs, they roll along. Power Electronics Valencia, the Euro Cup champions, start off their Euroleague season with a loss 56-72 to Panathinaikos. Very impressive win for Panathinaikos to go into Valencia and win by 16. A nice way to start it off with Sato, with Batista, with Maric, that incredible front court to go along with Diamantidis. Obviously, they lost Spanulis. Would that be a factor today? It wasn't. Diamantidis shouldered a lot of the load offensively, and I think we saw some pretty productive minutes out of a couple of the other guys. Stratus Paparoglou had one of the more efficient offensive games I've seen him have in a while, but gotta rain in the parade a little bit. If Panathinaikos wants to be better, they need to use Romain Sato in the offense more. He's used to getting it kind of on plays not created for him, but they need to go to him. They're not going to be fine with just Diamantidis, Maric, and Batista. I think Sato's a guy who can be an all-Euro-leaguer if they utilize him correctly, so we'll see if they do that. Montepaschi for Cholet Basket in the last day of the game. Montepaschi wins this guy going away at home by 22. Let me recalibrate. By 32, 76-44. Montepaschi over Cholet. Nothing really went wrong for Montepaschi, to put it very simply. Bo McCaleb comes in and had a decent debut. 12 points, 5 assists, nothing special, but did what he did. Got fouled 6 times, 8 of 8 at the line. That's what he does. He creates problems by penetrating, crashing down the defense, and dumping off and out to guys like Sistaf Lavrinovic, who ended up with 13 points. Marco Cararetto, 13 points. And Milovan Rakovic, a good debut for him. 7 points, 6 boards, very efficient. This Montepaschi team is tough year in, year out. It looks like even though they lost Benjamin Etze, even though they lost Romain Sato, and their leader Terrell McIntyre, toughness is still going to be their calling card. That is good news for Montepaschi Siena, and good news for Simone Pianigiani. Is it close enough? Then that's all I'm shooting for. Cholet Basket, welcome to the bigs, guys. You got to step it up. Just really didn't have much of anything. Fabian Kasur out there for 31 minutes, but he was a little bit too passive. He's been very aggressive. This team has been very aggressive in the French league, but also very inconsistent. In a couple games, they won one by about 25, and they go turn around the next day, the next game, and lose one by about 26-27. So they need to be a little more consistent. If you're on this level, every week it's going to be a challenge because every week matters. Bottom line, that's what the deal was this week. A bunch of terrific games yesterday. Pretty ugly one on Monday, frankly, but the high-profile matchup got us excited. And even though today had a bunch of terrible games, I enjoyed every minute of it because bottom line, the Euroleague is back. which means ELA is back. Full force. Stick with us. We got a whole season to go. We're just getting started.